Hey guys, welcome to the channel and welcome to my stream and yet another chapter. What chapter? Chapter working on that guy there. That's our 92 Toyota pickup by AMT. We're going to continue the build today after we run the intro. Okay guys, we are back. So we're going to continue on this, and I'm going to be honest. After painting this guy red last time, tailgate. After painting this guy, I started working on another project, and it's been about a week since I've even touched this thing. I don't even know what's next. So let's just find out together, okay? That's what we're going to do. Here's our interior. And so, yeah, we're going to find out what is next now that this is painted a nice, bright, shiny red color. She's not going to stay this bright, shiny red color. I tell you that, okay? And I know there's going to be some people who are going to be like, what are you doing when I get to that stage? But this is what we got, okay? It's not all that shiny. I mean, yeah, it's just regular Tamiya spray paint, and that's how it comes out of the can, and it's not super glossy, but it's good enough. It's a good base. So let's look at our instructions and see what we're supposed to do. Okay, so after the interior is completed, done, we worked on the body. And so it looks like we're going to be installing our interior and our windows and some fun stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to put our little box away for now because we don't need him right yet. That's correct, right yet. We're going to work on our cab, okay? We change the camera so you can see what I'm doing, and yeah, we'll go from there, okay? Alright, here we are. Camera looks a little weird for some reason, I don't know why. But yeah, let me get my coffee out of the way here. Okay, so we got to put some windows in this puppy. Get those in. I was actually thinking of maybe not even putting the back window in the truck, or it's two options. Either making the back window totally totally not there at all, or taking the back window and like making it seem like it's been broken and has a big crack in it, kind of thing. So this side, I hate it when they do this. They do this great big wide connector. I hate it when they do that great big wide one on them. They did the same on the rear window. So what I'll do, first get these little knobs off of it. You know, the windows are always, I guess, as a kid, the windows were always like the sketchiest part of putting these kits together when I was a kid. As a kid, you know, I'd get glue on my fingers and wouldn't even know I got glue on my finger. And next thing you know, I'm touching the window and I let go and I've got a nice humongous fingerprint embedded into the clear window. And that just tends to ruin the whole build, right? It just does. Okay, let's put the windshield aside for a sec. So what I'm going to do for the rear window, we're going to run our X-Acto knife along here, like this, and kind of score a little line along there. And we're going to do this over and over until it breaks through. And just like that. And now we've got a nice, well, it's not that nice, but it's something we can work with and clean clean that up with a file. Get that relatively straight and flat. And now it's nice. Now it's nice and flat and smooth without breaking or cracking it. Alright, so the windshield, because of its curved nature, is a little harder to do that. There's a potential if I press down really hard, I'm going to flatten out that windshield and I'm going to crack it. So I put it down like this on this side and run this along here like that. I'm not doing too much pressure, just a little bit of pressure, just because if I have to do this 7, 8, 10 times before I get through that plastic, that's okay. That's better than accidentally cracking it, or going off the line with my knife and going down the side by mistake because I'm pressing so hard. So very lightly, take your time. Okay. I lost count. I wasn't counting how many times I'm doing this. I'm going to say 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, I feel like I'm almost there, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there we go. 26 and a half is what it took to get through that. All right, Mr. File, come in here and clean that up. There we go. Oh, we got some flash here on this edge. There we go. Just where those little knobs were, a little bit of flash. Okay, let's do a dry fit and see how this fits. As you can see, I have preserved the gray interior color in there when I masked it off. Let's see how our windshield fits. Looks like we've got lots of play. Well, I wouldn't say lots, but we've got a little bit of room. Not much, actually. There's not a lot of extra plastic. We've got sort of a little lip that it kind of sits in on each edge here. So, but they've made it so it just fits. If you got it too tall, you'll get a gap at the bottom. If you got it too low, you'll get a gap at the top. So it's kind of really just sits in there. Normally these kits have they do a better job at giving you just that extra, half a millimeter extra glass, but this one, it's really, really bang on. Just like that. To get that just exactly where it needs to be. So that I don't have any gaps. Okay, I'm going to get some glue, just like that. There we go. utilizing the capillary action of the Tamiya Extra Thin. We'll run along the channel there. I like to do all 4 points. I love watching the glue just kind of all of a sudden go choo and just run along the line super quick. I like that. I don't know why. My glass just moved, and that sucks because now I've got to paint some goober there because the glass moved. Shite. Which also means I've got a gap now. And I've got to put this back in its spot. So that's unfortunate that I've got paint right up there in the corner that has seeped out, seeped down. So that's a little bit of an oops right there. Which, to be honest, I have not done something like that in a very, very long time. But, yeah. Oops. I might be able to clean that up later, once the glue is dried. Let's have a look at our rear window. Let's see how she's going to fit. Now, like I said, I kind of was thinking, do I want to put the rear window in at all? Just having a look to see if it's just flat or if it's chamfered. No, it's on the floor. That's what it is. Let's put that down. She don't want to stay. It almost sits. It sits right in the hole. It doesn't sit on the hole, it goes right through. Like it sits flush in the hole. It actually fits right through the hole. That is a first. I've not encountered that before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape across here so that I can kind of keep the window there. Maybe I won't actually. I'll just leave it like that. And I'll glue it in. Okay. We will try and make sure it is flat in there, straight. Go. There we go. 2 corners. Three corners. And 4 corners. Okay. So there's our rear window in. Just like that. They didn't, you know, they molded it so that it fits in the hole perfectly, but at the same time they kind of rounded the clear not to the same angle as the actual molding. So I actually have a little bit of a hole right there, which again, unfortunate in that we have to rely on that kind of thing. But that's the way she goes. Okay, so I want to deal with my little goober on my windshield here. I don't like that at all. I want to try and clean that up. So what can I use to try and clean that up? Well, First, I'm going to try a little bit of alcohol on a Q-tip and see if that does anything at all. It's possible that it will fix it, but it's also very possible that it doesn't do anything at all. So let's have a look. Okay, we're gonna try. Get that wet with some alcohol. And we'll see. Put my finger in there so I can rub on it without pushing the window out. Let's see if this even touches the paint at all. I might have to get some actual thinner. Yeah, the alcohol is not touching it at all. It's doing absolutely nothing. Yeah, nothing. Okay, so we're going to resort to thinner. I'm going to use Tamiya's lacquer thinner. Okay, if I use regular lacquer thinner like my regular hardware store lacquer thinner, if you use this stuff, you're just going to melt your plastic. Okay. Tamiya's lacquer thinner is like some diluted version of lacquer thinner, and it's great for cleaning up their paint and cleaning your brushes and stuff like that. And it doesn't eat the plastic. So let's try this. Yeah, see, it's turning red because it's getting rid of that. So instead of having a little red smudge, I just basically have a clear spot that it's still a little bit of a smudge, but it's not painted anymore. It's taken away the red paint. So I can live with that. It's very small and minor. So yeah. Okay, so with that done, windows are in. We put our rear view mirror in there. So that's 112. I think that's going to be a chrome part. Let's see. There's our tail lights and our front grille and our mirrors. Is that all we have for chrome? Or did I? No, it's right here. It's in the box. It's in the box with our mirrors. Or actually, what are these? These are lights that possibly go on top of the roll bar. But anyway, we want part number 112. Actually, what I'm going to do is this guys need to be painted. You know, interior mirrors, rear view mirrors, they're never chrome all the way around, only the second. And it's sad, you know, they didn't even mold the section that's supposed to be the glass in the mirror. This is just totally flat, and there's no little ridge like there should be to designate the inset of the mirror. What did they mold this in? Well, they molded it in black. Well, that helps. So I'm going to scrape the chrome off of this around here so that we can at least give the illusion of it. Having the plastic housing like it should. And I won't have to paint it then. So I'm just gonna carefully scrape away all the chrome on this. All the way around. this side. Now, could I have just painted this black? Yes, I could have. But, I don't know why. Sometimes it's just, I like to just scrape away the chrome and just leave it like that. There we go. So now we've got the black housing, and on the one side we've got the nice mirrored face. Now of course I got to get rid of the chrome on the tip of this where the glue is going to contact. Otherwise she ain't going to stick at all. So there we go. So he's going to go in. They've got a nice special little spot for him right in there. Right there, they've got that designated little hole for it. So we're going to get ready with our tweezers here, and we're going to go in like this and go doink, just like that. Okay, but first put some glue in there and do our doink. Doesn't want to stand up on his own. Come on. There we go. Let's see if we can get it a little more straight. There we go. I like to make them crooked because you know what? In your real life car, it's never just straight, right? Because you angle it for how you can see. And well, I like to mimic that in my kits. So there we go. Our mirror is in. Which means we can put our interior bucket in now. Now that our mirror is in, our windows are in, our rear view mirror is in, so our interior bucket can go in now. And this guy just drops in the test fit I did before. So they do have this little slot peg that apparently is supposed to line up with that there. Let's see how accurate this is. I don't want it to just drop in. It feels like it does just fit into that hole just like that. So I'll put some glue there. And I'll run some glue along the front here. And we'll call that interior installed. Not bad, not bad. Alrighty. So the other thing we have to do for this part is put our brake booster on there. And of all things, our windshield wiper motor has to go on here. And I need to do a little bit of detail painting. I need to paint our wire harness that's going across here. And I'm not sure what this is. That is... I'm not sure what that is either. You know, sometimes they just do generic molds of stuff in here and you don't really know what it is they're supposed to be. Or maybe you have an idea. Maybe that's the... Maybe that's a coil. Maybe. I don't know. Or it's the... some kind of a motor. What is this over here? You know, maybe this is our windshield washer fluid container, and this is, or maybe this is a fuse box. I really don't know. You got this funky thing going here. I'm guessing the battery is going to go in right here in this flat spot. We will see. That also means I got to do a little bit of painting on this, right? So let's just put this aside for now. Put that upside down so that can dry. And we're going to find our brake booster, our power brake pump. It's really the booster. Number 12. Let's find this. See if we can find our parts here. It's not on this sprue, that's for sure. And found our battery, and here it is here. Already painted for me. Yay, because I primered this black. So we've got the battery, we got that part. That is number 12, right? Yes, number 12. And then our windshield washer motor is number 10, which is right here. And then we got our reservoir for the brake fluid. That's number 13. And I'm not seeing that on the sprue here. Their numbers really are all over the place. We've got number 10, number 12, 72, 38, number 9, 16, 18, 30. So our reservoir is not on this sprue. It is not on this sprue. Where's our reservoir? Must be in the box. Finding it is a bigger challenge than anything else. I see it here. Confirm the number, 13. All on his own on this little sprue. Okay, so we need to paint these. I'm just going to paint it with some Mr. Surfacer black. That's all I need. Gives it a nice, smooth, flat black finish. Of course, the reservoir itself shouldn't be flat black. Maybe the lid is. The reservoir is always, you know, they're sort of a clear color so you can see the level of brake fluid in them, right? They're always kind of that sort of a faded yellow color. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. Let's let that sit here. And our little motor needs a little bit of love here. Love with a paintbrush. Okay, so we're going to let these dry. Let those dry. I'll clean up my brush here. Actually, let's take a look at what's next. Before I put the brush away, it could be something else I need to paint. Let's have a look. What is next? Next is back here on our tailgate. So I'll clean up my brush, let those dry for a minute, and I'll start on our tailgate and we'll start working on some of the details on that guy. Okay. So it looks like our tail light buckets need to go in next. Okay. So while those are drying, let's grab our box. Yeah. And our tail light bezels are going to go in here, and they're going to hold our tailgate in. So our bezels are here. I don't think there's a left and a right. They're both numbered 96. Yeah, so they're not left and right specific. And they are another piece that we have to get rid of the chrome on the back in order for it to glue in properly. Right, because they're going to go in here. These really are left and right specific because they've got this little notch right in there. Right in there is a little notch, and that's for the pin on the tailgate. The pin on the tailgate is going to go in there in that little notch like this, right? So that you have to keep that in mind, the way the tail light lenses are going to sit in. So this one wants to try and get away. We're going to see how this is going to sit on the truck and what I actually have to scrape away and what I don't. Where's the glue? Where's the contact? Where's the glue? So this kind of sits in just like this. And you can see that gap now. You can see the hole in there. Where over here? Right there. Where the pin is going to go in for the tailgate, right? So you got to keep that in mind. Don't flip this over and have it over here like this, because as much as that will fit, it does fit over there upside down, but that's wrong. So it sits like that. So I'm going to scrape away some chrome on this edge. Where it's making contact in there. And it seems to be on this back side here, where the ejector pins and the flashing is. This is where it's going to glue. I got to take care of that. Those ejector pins, those are a little nasty. Flatten that out. And then I'll do it on the bottom also. Okay. Now I feel like there's a little bit of contact on this side, but it's also exposed a little bit right there. I'm going to kind of scribe a line right here, like that, just so I can see. There's really not a lot. But if I can help, if if I can help that glue in a little bit, then I want to help it. Okay, so let's get that in there, and I put some glue. I do like that they have, you know, it's weird little things like this, where you've got the little nubs there that are supposed to be like your light bulbs in there. Those are like the light bulbs in the lens. And but other places they don't do detail. It's really weird and random what they do for detail and what they don't. I'm gonna have to look at my reference photos for the actual taillight lenses to see if they're entirely red or what's. I mean, they won't be entirely red. There'll be a clear spot for the reverse lights. So now we got to deal with our tailgate. I could just leave the tailgate out, but I don't think that's cool. I want to put our tailgate in and have it in its spot. I want to have the tailgate displayed down is what I want to do. That's my intention here, is to have the tailgate down. But I need to get this in its spot here properly. There we go. It is a little bit of a tight fit, but there we go. Tailgate's down. Okay. And now I can put in this other lens. Now again, we got to make sure we got this facing the right way. This is going to go in this direction, I believe. No. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. I'm going to go in like this. Yes. Like that. So again, with that in there, I'm going to scribe a little line here. Scrape away the chrome on this edge, but not past that line. And then this flat edge, do the top here. Again, why am I getting rid of the chrome? I'm getting rid of the chrome so that the glue will stick. The glue does not have the ability to penetrate through the chrome, which is why you've got to get rid of it. Do you have to get rid of it? Yes, you do. Now, for guys who strip all the chrome off their kits, they don't have to worry about all this scraping because they've already eliminated all the chrome. But I don't do that. I almost never do that. Can't say never. I can't say I don't do that because I have done it. I did it on the wheels for this truck. Okay, so we've got our chrome gone. We can install our tail light bezel again. And with the chrome gone, she fits a lot nicer. So let's put some glue in here. All right. Now I did try to avoid the back here because I don't want to really glue the tailgate down. I want to have the option of you know, having it move, but I am going to have it displayed down. And one little feature I'm going to do is I am going to put the little chain, or a little whatever they call it, the little shock or whatever, to do that across there. I got to do something with that because hey, you know, there, it's actually there. Okay, so with our taillight bezels in, we're going to let that dry, and we're going to go back to our brake booster. And let's get that assembled. We'll get the booster taken off the sprue here. Booster sprue. I don't know why I just said that. I'm a little weird today. That's why I said it. I'm weird. I said it because I'm weird. And we'll get our cylinder taken off there. That makes this sprue done. And now this guy goes in here. Now we have a half circle. It's not a full circle. We've got one flat edge on here. Let's see how she fits. Just like that. She fits good when you get it the right way around. She'll even fall off. She fits so good. Okay. There we go. So that's on. We'll let that dry. Now, our windshield wiper motor. This tiny little guy over here. Okay, a windshield wiper motor has 2 pegs and a nub. 2 pegs to go into 2 holes on the firewall. There and there, right? There and there. One is bigger than the other, and that helps you to figure out how this is supposed to orient. So I'll just put some glue there and there, and grab my tweezers because it's a little hard to get in there, and line that up. Let's get this. This. And there we go. That was easier than what I thought it was going to be. And there we go. Our windshield wiper motor is in. And there we go. Next, this guy. I want to clean up that nub there. Unfortunately, cleaning up the nub means I'm cleaning up the paint on it. I don't really want to do that. This is simply going to go on right here like that, but I want to touch up those little spots there. I want to touch up that white spot because it's going to look a little funny. And of course, once it's actually on the firewall, it's going to be hard to get in there and actually paint this edge. So let's just preemptively paint this. All right, there we go. Okay, so clean my brush off. Actually, while I'm at it, why don't I paint these things under here? Like our little harness that's running along the back here. I find the Mr. Hobby, Mr. Surfacer, just flows a lot smoother than the Tamiya paint, which is why I'm using it to paint, and even though it's a primer. It doesn't have the same tendency to thicken up on itself like Tamiya's flat black does. And it actually is more like a semi-gloss than a flat black. I don't know what this little thing at the back here is, but I'm sure it's probably black. It really is amazing how many things you look under the hood of your car, just how many things really are black in color. This thing, I really have no idea. I don't even know what this is. If this is supposed to be black or what. We're gonna go with black. When in doubt, make it black. But like I said, this could be the windshield washer reservoir, which would mean it's supposed to be white. But at the same time, I'm not going to be looking under the hood of this thing very much. The underneath of the hood is not the main character of this particular build. There we go. This funny little thing. I don't know if this is supposed to be a cable or not, but it's getting the black treatment. Whatever it happens to be, I don't know what that is. But she's black now. And then finally we have this guy here. He's going to get the black treatment. Everything gets black treatment on this truck. Here we go. Okay. Everything, we got some detail on there, and we've got some black lines and black chords and black whatever those things are. And yeah, everything's become black. There we go. Okay, so I'll clean up my brush and we're going to install our brake booster. Let's put this aside so I can get my paint thinner. All right, done. And my coffee's getting cold. My coffee's getting cold now. Okay. Brake booster. You need some glue going in all around here. And just like that. Let's make sure she's straight. There we go. I'm going to put a little dab of glue on the bottom here just to make sure. And press down just to make sure she's actually on there where she belongs. There we go. Brake booster's in. And there's our underhood detail. Done. All right. That's that. So that, looking at this section here, is number 9. That completes this. That is done. So 9 is done. Back to the tailgate. Now we've got the tailgate installed. It's our taillight lenses that I need to take a look at reference photo and see what we need to do with those. So let me quickly look at a photo here. Look at my reference pictures and look at the back end of this thing. So our lenses actually are amber at the top with a clear strip in the middle and then red on the bottom. So let's find our lenses. The lenses are 109 and 108 on the clear sprue. 108 and 109. It's 105, 99 and 100. They are not on here. That's 98. So they're not on here. Is there another clear sprue? There's not another clear sprue. So what the heck? Am I missing something here, guys? Oh, here we go. They've done this. They're like, hey, we got you. We're gonna mold your taillights in red for you, so you don't have to paint them. Never mind the fact that the center is supposed to be clear for the reverse light, and the top of it's supposed to be orange for signal light. So I'm going to ignore the whole taillight thing, the reverse light. I'm going to try with a little bit of clear orange. I'm going to see if I can at least get some kind of a color difference, variation. Using Tamiya's clear orange, I'm going to see if I can get any kind of a color difference in that part of the lens. These don't appear to be, well, I'd say the top part is a little bit different. So it's an extremely subtle change. The change is so subtle it's almost not worth it. It's such a subtle change on there that I want to keep it clear. I don't want to do a solid orange, but as you can tell, it's, well, maybe you can't tell. You can tell that I painted it, but the color variation is extremely subtle. But maybe we can do something about the red and make it darker. Instead of making the orange lighter, maybe we can make the red darker. Let's try something like clear yellow on the red to change it to orange. Maybe we try something like that. Again, it's really subtle, doing yellow on it, but let's grab a regular red. Let's go with X7 red and put it in behind the red and see how that looks on the back side. That definitely makes it look darker because it's solid. Let me grab something that I can grab onto this with. There we go. Now that looks better. That's looking a little better. I still don't have reverse lights, but the actual tail light, the red section looks red and the other one looks a lot more orangey color, and that looks a little bit more realistic. A little bit better. Now there's no way I'm even going to get, without actually painting the outside of the lens, there's no way to get that silvery clear color for the reverse light. The best I could do is get it to be bright red, but I'm just going to have to live with that and say that's good enough, because that's all I can do really. Now, having just painted that, I don't want to start playing around with it trying to get it installed. the next thing would be to put those lenses on, put our license plate on there. The license plate I'm going to do last on the build. That's going to be last. So the next step, we can do this. The next step is to actually put the box and mate it with the cab, and then put them both together on the frame. Before I go, let's do that. Okay? Before we call it a day, let's do that. So here's our cab. Let's put our taillights over here. And let's get my little picker-upper thingy away. So we have our box, and this did not glue in. This is good. I did not purposely glue this. I purposely did not glue this, but to get this to come up is just, I don't want to bother. I wanted to display this with the tailgate down anyway, so yeah. So we've got two little hooks here that's going to go in the cab, and fortunately it's going to cover our little white spot as it comes up and locks in. And I'm going to be really careful not to push my windshield into the cab. So that's locked in now, just like that. Nice and simple. I just accidentally broke my bond on my windshield here, so I need to re-glue that. Let's take care of that before we do anything else. I'm going to have to get in here now with this angle, and try and get my windshield pushed back down like that while I put glue on it. I'm going to try my quick type. And see how I can do this here. Can't even really get in there. Kind of have to hold it, put some pressure on it. You don't want to stay glued in anymore. Okay, I am going to put my finger here, and we're going to glue from the outside. No, I'm not going to put my finger there, because that would be silly. That's just a recipe for fingerprints. I'm going to do that, and hold it like this. This is not the best job I've ever done on windshields, guys. I will admit that. In fact, in the last 2 years, this is probably the worst job I've done on a windshield. But you know what? I'm going to blame AMT, because they made it so the windshield almost perfectly fits into the hole here, which is just a recipe for getting glue on it. So we'll see. So as you can tell, I'm holding it like this, using my thing to put pressure in the middle there. I didn't want my finger in there, because my finger might actually get on the edge, and then the glue would just capillary right around my finger, and I didn't want that. So if I let go now, okay, she seems to be holding now. but I have a feeling she's going to come loose again, which would mean I need to do this again. And as you can see, I got a spot over on this side that doesn't look very good. So I'm not sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll just pretend there's a crack and draw some crack lines. Do some crack on my truck. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna glue our tail box, glue our box in. I'm gonna use this, and I'll put some glue on our little hooks here and get her glued in. Okay, flip her over, line those up, and down you go. Just like that. We're lined up, we're glued in. Okay, that's easy enough. Now, something I was doing, see, I painted this black to match our undercarriage, right? But just realizing as this goes in, this should kind of be red. I don't know if it really matters, honestly. Wow, that just dropped in and just goes exactly where it's supposed to go. It's almost like it knew it was supposed to go there. Yeah, that's exactly the spot it's supposed to drop in. It's not lined up perfect. So as I have it nice and flat against the bottom of the thing, the frame is not connecting up here. And the spots where it's supposed to connect to the bed of the truck, yeah, those are lined up. Oh, there we go. She just snapped in. Not lined up back here though. I want to have it lined up at the back before anything else. See, there's 4 spots. We've got 2 pegs and 2 holes, and those line up with their frame here, 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 and here. And those are the most important things to get lined up. And that's what I want to get lined up here. Before anything else is lined up, I want these lined up. I have had them lined up once before, when I was just kind of farting around test fitting. There we go. So what I want to do, it's not exactly straight, so this is all nice and done there, but now look at the gap there. That is not straight at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to put glue on these 4 points, put that down, and I'm going to let that set, and that's going to be it. Okay, they have things here also, but they're not lining up yet. We're going to get her lined up on the box first, and then we'll worry about the cab later. That's going to be the thing, because this actually kind of has to come forward. It's almost like it's got to get bent up a little bit better, right? So, which actually tells me it's going to be better to keep this not glued. And we can put the box in, do this, get that glued in like this. Come on, line up. She is finicky. She will line up, but she wants to fight me. There. Okay. So that's lined up like this. And now we can drop the cab down after. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to glue the box down. glue the box down first. I'm going to have to use clamps. Oh, maybe not. Okay, once she's snapped in, she stays. But she kind of doesn't really want to stay. So if I move it around too much, she's going to want to pop out of her little slots. But she's in there. Alright? She's in there. And that's where she's going to stay. She's in her new home now. And I'm tempted to put a clamp right there just to hold it down. Maybe a light clamp or a medium clamp. I'll use a medium clamp here. It's not long enough. My clamp's not long enough. Oh well. It's okay. She doesn't really need it anyway. Okay, so this is it. Okay. We're going to let this sit and we're going to let this cure. Okay. And then I'll put the cab on. That's what we're going to do next time, okay? Well, actually I'm not going to do next time. I'm just going to give this an hour or so to cure, and then I'll put the cab on, and then we'll do something next. We'll do something else next time, okay? So, that being said, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. And if you haven't, please subscribe. That'd be really cool. I know there's something like, when I look at the analytics, there's something like 70% of you guys, or 68% of you guys that watch my stuff, you don't subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you did hit the subscribe button. And also hit the like button. Leave a comment if you feel like too. In the description box down below, you're going to find some links, and you'll see links to my other stuff that I do. Every time I finish a build, I post some pictures of it up on my Instagram. And you can check me out on my X channel too, which is pretty much the same. It's just really on my X channel, all I do is post those pictures of the box art, just as say, hey, new video is available on YouTube. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you again, and thanks for all the support. And we'll see you all in the next one.